long, but pleasant surprise, I suppose. There we are, right back into the next game, Rebirth Esports versus Team 1. Thank you all for sticking with me through that. Hopefully I can go ahead and collect myself. I don't really know what happened towards the beginning of this game here, so I'm going to go ahead and keep an eye on the HLTV feed. It looks like Phantom had a 3K in a pistol. Mobs had an incredible second round. Okay, cool. I'm basically all caught up. Team 1, although they lost the pistol, won basically every round since so far, so we can finally go ahead and say that we are in control of this game. We know what's going on. 1-3, and on train as well. I don't feel like I see enough of this map. Carson will be the single bearer of bad news for the Team 1 side over towards B, but of course Auto Director wants to look at someone else completely different, and Carson will actually get caught. That's a really popular angle to hold, so it makes sense that they're pre-aiming it. That's great news for Team 1. Also, I should mention, I think Team 1 are undefeated in Mountain Dew League at the moment. Either 8-0 or 9-0 at the moment. Rebirth, they've been doing pretty great, don't get me wrong. This has a team of a lot of superstar players. But they can't really even hold a candle to how Team 1 has been performing. The Brazilians are just a wealth of talent, it feels like. And you could be able to tell based off of kills like that from PRT, who opens us up. Not even opens us up, just turns on the ignition once more. We're already driving ourselves insane with all these kills that Team 1 have gotten. And they'll quickly push in towards B. The thing is, even though they got that kill over towards A, they have absolutely no reason to try to even push out there. B was free for the taking right off the bat. Sidewalk being snuffed out, and Team 1 obviously are going to be running away with that. We'll probably see a pause coming in for Rebirth. Gives me a little bit of time to go ahead and refocus. As the bomb will go up. It looks good for Team 1. I'm really interested in what this kind of means for the Rebirth side. Because they lost their guns towards the end of it as they were saving outside Ivy. Team 1 are, from what I've seen, they have just an insanely great grasp on the fundamentals of Counter-Strike. They pretty much always know like where players are going to be saving as well, which is just like kind of insane. They just have like a really good a sense for that sort of thing. And it's nice. But enough gassing up Team 1. Everybody who's watched MDL knows that they're a scary, scary team. As they're up against pistols, this is just going to be a nice little treat for them to snack down on a couple of unsuspecting Rebirth members. Or maybe very well suspecting members. All of them incredibly afraid to take duels. Will try to push their luck towards places like top B, where they all quickly die. An extended fight from Phantom somehow wins it out. That second peek from Maluk just a little bit too late, but it's whatever. Again, there's not really too much you can write home regarding it. Well, still already a very good place for Rebirth to be in, or for Team 1 to be in. We'll see the double ops come out, which makes sense. Yo, Sully, thanks for the raid. Holy hell, dude. You're a monster. I appreciate you, dude. Hearts in chat for Sully, who went ahead and basically tripled my viewer count just like that. Hello, everybody. My name is Ito, and I'm casting Team 1 versus Rebirth Esports, and apparently the action never stops. Rebirth, they've been playing it slow basically this entire time, but of course, right on cue, Team 1 will decide to push right into them and actually just take fights immediately towards A. It's not a bad idea, don't get me wrong, but just the sheer pace of it extremely caught me off guard. And Rebirth, although it caught them off guard for those initial 2 kills, they'll be able to quickly go ahead and gather themselves, and Rechi will go huge with a double. Even trying to find the third, but Pesa will snuff that one out. Carson now moving up over towards Heaven, and Exotic over towards Ivy. Basically had an ironclad setup to remove Pesa from the situation forcefully. And will now move into a 2-5 scoreline. Rebirth getting another round online. Although they had double ops that time, I don't feel like that was really the big reason why they won. More so than anything, that was Rechi with a really patient play. The fact that he held on site for so long, waiting for Team 1 to actually kind of push past that red train, I think was probably the only key factor of what worked out for Rebirth, excuse me. This sort of thing is sustainable too. Like the way that Rebirth won that round was sustainable, and a lot to be happy about regarding it. Team 1. Now we'll basically just be slowing down the approach once more. And this is what I've been seeing a lot of. Very default positions from both sides. And Carson, thankfully this time not being pre-fired and taken down right off the bat. Team 1 again with their wonderful grasp on the fundamentals. I've done well to earn these rounds so far. But Rebirth, how are they going to challenge it? Maybe the challenge will come in the form of Phantom taking an aggro fight over towards the ladder room. Isn't always the wisest of moves, but it seems to be exactly what the doctor ordered. 3 kills in a matter of just a couple of seconds, and Team 1 aren't able to budge outside of TCOM before they already get taken out one by one. There's Maluk caught with a smoke out, caught with his pants down, and caught with a round lost. It's pass out versus 5, but maybe those 2 kills will be all that he has. I'm surprised he actually stuck the plant. Oh my god. And that's where I feel like those ops really shine. In that second round that Rebirth picked up, I don't really feel like the ops were the most important factor, but in that round, it most definitely was. Sure, you can go ahead and argue that that fight taken over towards E-Box was probably the biggest turning point, but the fact that Exotic had his T-Con just in case anything went awry, I think was such a good pivot. Rebirth Esports, those are the kind of rounds these past 2 are exactly what they need in order to take down the juggernaut that is Team 1. They have been on a tear through all of MDL. And finally, Rebirth have said enough. The only problem at this point is if that's going to be nearly enough to take down the Brazilians. I'm not exactly certain yet. But this should be a round for Rebirth just on paper. Judging by the artillery that we see and the approach that Rebirth are taking towards it, they have a player in the form of Carson who is just in a perfect scenario to snuff out a couple. Never mind, it's going to be Malbs actually flipping the script on me entirely. And hey, you know what? I've just been shocked, brought right back to reality. And this is exactly why Team 1 are so scary. This is what I mean. Such a solid grasp on the fundamentals. They knew how Rebirth wanted to play that one. And they took down both players without much of a hiccup at all. They lose a single player, or 2 players, I should say, excuse me. One just caught off guard, but Exotic is going to be even more caught off guard as Maluk is ready, willing, and able to find that kill. Team 1 are just... It's hard not to seem biased towards them, but they really are just kind of on another level from basically every team in MDL. That reason alone is why I'm so excited for the New England Whalers versus Team 1 match that's happening later. 2 of the undefeated teams. It's going to be happening tomorrow, I believe, but my god, it's going to be one hell of a game. Rebirth. They're getting a bit more aggressive on their fights, which is a nice change of pace. This is usually what I would expect out of some of these players like 4-Pack, Exotic, and Rechi. They basically got their way to MDL by being extremely aggressive. The fact that they've slowed it down is a bit of an interesting change of pace. It doesn't seem to be working all too well, this aggressive style. And they'll quickly lose fights, trading left, right, and center until Exotic is stuck at the very bottom against 2 utility-wielding members of the Team 1 force. Exotic has no clue on where either of them are. Never mind, he spotted the arm, but he can't find the kill. Maluk just barely getting away. Now I'll burn a little bit more time off the clock. Still, Team 1 want to push in. They want to finish up over towards A. What an insane shot from Exotic. The counter strafe to actually become accurate was on point. Not many people can hit that kind of shot, but Exotic sure as hell can. Now, things get a little bit dicey. Maluk is going to quickly rotate bomb all the way over towards B, but who else but Exotic is ready. With a pistol out, he'll try to close the distance. They're walking towards each other. Maluk has absolutely no idea of it. The taps are in, but somehow Maluk survives. Now he'll be the one rotating all the way over towards upper. A flash is picked up, and a little bit of time is bought, and Exotic is now going to be hoping for a chance. Is he actually going to do this? He is! Now that is the Exotic that I feel like we have seen so much of. Oh, I'm getting flashbacks to ESEA Season 33. ESEA Season 34 even. That is the blood, sweat, and tears player. You can take the blood, sweat, and tears out of Rebirth, but you could just never take the Exotic out of it. He is just a complete other factor. It's just the fact that he looks so calm when he had the USP out. That's the big thing for me. He looks so calm, like he knew he was going to get that kill. Well played by Team 1 to at least make it that far, but they will not be rewarded handsomely for all that work of getting the bomb down, getting a bunch of guns. In fact, that's only going to be tempering the beast a little bit more. Rebirth will extend for our kill outside a ladder room. And a pincer in, Team 1, I thought this was actually going to be a perfect call for them to go ahead and try to bring it over towards B, but they're looking to fight over towards A. This is so insanely risky. I'm surprised they even made it this far. Everyone should be guillotined at this point. But somehow, they're sticking in it. Maluk could even find this kill. Barton is going to be taking a much slower approach. Keep in mind the clock is still at about the minute mark. Meaning that there is so much space, so much time for Team 1 to work with here. But this isn't theoretical physics that we're talking about. We're talking about how to win a 2v3 like this. Barton searches for a gun or a kill, whatever comes first. But he's looking the wrong directions. He's not actually clearing out the A bomb site itself. That means that Exotic will have a little bit of territory to roam free. He spotted Barton. And Barton will actually hold his... he holds his fire perfectly! Why can't he just get away with insane plays like this? I don't know. Now, you see, the juice is flowing, the blood is pumping, and Team 1 will close it out just like that. Team 1 are... they're on another plane of existence, bro. Oh my god, I love Counter-Strike. Team 1, they squeak out that round thanks to the ninja who is Barton. Their money isn't very nice, I'll have to say. But Rebirth Esports are even in a worse place economically. They're in a rut. And so they should be okay to finish up this round here. Rebirth, they can be pretty nasty when it comes to the Deegs. Don't get me wrong. Oh, and Carson, he's been... Carson actually hit that shot. God, what the hell is going on in this game? But PRT... he'll realize that probably the fact that someone is pushing up ladder immediately means that B is going to be mostly deserted. He'll just be able to tap away at a couple of members. Not too exciting. This is kind of the USP versus rifle diff right there. Although eventually, Phantom will find PRT's logical conclusion. The wraparound A. And a quick, clean finish for Team 1, almost certainly at this point. Carson, I'm wondering if he tries to bait in and try to find a Zeus kill here. Might be his best bet. He's thinking about it. This USP that he has, oh, Maluk is going to be a free kill for Carson, if it even gets that far. Is Maluk watching? Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Boop. Well, that's going to be one free gun, I suppose, but yeah, there are many layers to the Team 1 offense. If you try to take down one member, they are... I don't know, man. They just always have more players at the ready. Team 1 are basically just a Hydra in the form of Counter-Strike team, really. It's 4-8 at the moment. That was not the most exciting of rounds, but we can go ahead and try to excite ourselves a little bit more because now we have guns again. And I always love seeing a little bit of gun action. The rifles have been promising for both sides, really. 4-pack. Did he spot that? I think he did. I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't watching his POV, but it seems awfully likely that he'll be able to at least be quick on the shot, worst comes to worst. If not, he most definitely heard that scope, assuming comms weren't being cluttered. Retchy going to try to force the situation over towards ladder, dodging the flashes, but not winning the fight. Malbs gets away by the skin of his teeth. And Team 1, they continue to just kind of outclass Rebirth in a number of these scenarios. But take a gander at where Team 1 have spread out their offense. They are all over the place. They have players who are committed towards upper B. They have a player waiting outside of T-Con, ready to get a couple of, or not T-Con, excuse me, Ivy, just ready to watch for any pushes from that upper or just be perfect on the flank. Like, Team 1, just with the positions that haven't been contested from Rebirth, are in a wonderful position just to straight up win this round. Carson will fight back, and that's actually a huge play to do. 4-pack will capitalize upon it with a double kill of his own. And never mind. Maybe I counted Rebirth out a little bit too early. They still are a very scary team in their own right. But Team 1, they've been in this kind of position before. And maybe this one's just a bit too tall of an order. Indeed, that will be the case. Rebirth, they get up to 5. And an 8-7 seems a little bit more possible at this point. The money, not wonderful for Team 1, means that we're going to be seeing a half buy. I would imagine Pissa or someone else drops a couple of deagles, maybe for Barton. Or Barton, knowing after that play he did with the Tech 9, probably see that again. I'm wondering if they try that strat again. I feel like Ivy has been the golden goose for Team 1 on their entire T side. It has been their best bet, their best playmaking potential, just kind of condensed into one little area of the map. If they can keep holding onto it, there's actually a real good shot that Team 1 could win this. I don't ever want to count them out, but Team 1, they have the same idea as me. This is why I don't want to count them out. They have 2 AKs. They think they could win this round. That takes some serious cojones to actually believe that. But Rebirth Esports, they're no slouch. Good luck trying to face off against Exotic the Opper. Another one in the form of 4-pack. A fast push being brought out from the side of Team 1 here. And although Malbs will get 1 kill for the T side here, Blue will overwhelmingly fill the kill feed for a little while longer. We're staying at a pretty neutral game. 1-for-1s all the way across the board. But Rebirth are still filling up the kill feed more. It just never ends. Rebirth, when it comes to this change of pace from Team 1, they are good at shutting it down every single time. That has been like their best success rate. But they can't keep hedging their bets on whether Team 1 decide to take it quick or not. Exotic shuts them all down with a 4K. That'll be great news for them as they head into the last round of the half. Team 1 only on pistols. And it does seem very likely that will be that 8-7 that I mentioned previously. Exotic has been great on the sniper, I have to say. Big props to him. Sandwich smoke out. Do Team 1 want to go for another quick approach? I don't think that's their best bet. Maybe they realize it alongside with me. This is such an insanely risky position for 4-pack to be in, and somehow they're just not shooting at him. Are they just going for like the pacifist route on the T side or something? What is going on? 4-pack doesn't shoot a bullet. He gets stuck in the smoke, and Team 1, of course, they're on the verge of winning this round. Just nothing makes sense anymore. Barton gets one with a deagle. And we enter a 1v4 for Retchy to overcome. Now, look, he's an insane player, but the timing doesn't exactly seem to be working out for him all too well. 6-9, a very nice number. Very, very dominant scoreline for Team 1. It's very strange, and a lot of the rounds that they did win, they looked pretty great. For both teams, I should say. Like, I think Rebirth, from the rounds that we did see, I know we got into this game a couple of rounds late. Every time Rebirth won a round, they looked amazing. Every time Team 1 won a round, They just looked absurd, man. There's a couple of instances, you know, when they're on ecos or something, where just an insane play was brought out of nowhere, like Barton with that 2K Tech 9. That was unbelievably just like this insanely smart of him. Because I would have tried to take down Exotic immediately, but the fact that he found Phantom on top of that, I still can't get over it, man. Caught Team 1, 1 to 6 odd, $500 easy. Well, hey, man, glad you're choosing to watch my stream. If you're just joining, my name is Ito, and this is for the next big caster challenge. And as we enter the second pistol, Rebirth, although they're on the back foot, are looking pretty damn primed to take this one. And try to maybe close up that gap a bit more. It's not certain, nothing is, but it's awfully promising when you actually see that there is no utility for Team 1. For some reason, though, Phantom isn't looking the right way at all, and that will be a free kill and a free punish. Kit still at the ready, too, and don't tell me Team 1 are actually going to win this one, right? Oh my god, they actually might do it. 4-pack, he takes down the person who's sitting on the bomb here. Pesa basically forced to take the fight at this point here. He tries to take a vertical approach to it. Oh, 4-pack with a 4K. And another one for Rebirth. That is just... How can you cast that sort of action, man? It's a sheer absurdity. There's no reason that Team 1 shouldn't be buying up, however. This is a very, very winnable position for them. Up against the AKs, Galils, and a MAC-10, and even an MP5. I don't see that all too often. The scouts do them a lot of good. Early smoke and flash out. Barton. He's watching for it. Nothing much to report for either camp at the moment, however. Just kind of working for some early map control. And the double stack drop should be good for Rebirth. Now they own ladder room. Playing a game of Monopoly with all the places and areas that they're trying to control. However, Team 1 are very damn good at Monopoly in their own right. And will be trying to fight tooth and nail. Rebirth are coming out on top. Those AKs are doing amazing work for them. And the players wielding them are doing even better. Maluk misses a pretty vital shot. If he found that kill, there's a good chance, but now it's not looking very likely. Oh my god, PRT. He makes it a bit more possible. He got the hard kill, but didn't quite get the easy one. And Team 1 will be forced to finally save, so we'll be seeing gun rounds when it's tied up 9-9. Reminds me a lot of how Team 1 approached that first half, however. Not really too much to write home about this one either. I would think that Team 1 would want to like try stacking. I mean, obviously they're stacking outer here, but maybe like an Estrella stack or something. I've seen that work a couple of times. Rebirth seem to be playing perfectly around it, however. Just kind of the nature, that solo nature that they've been adopting recently. Should be good for another round. And there you have it. Kill feed tinted yellow. And now, this is where the fall begins. Things get a bit more crazy from here on out here. The economy becomes one of the biggest factors for Team 1, and Team 1 are really good at maintaining their economy. As we've seen plenty of games prior. I haven't seen them on train, to be fair, so I'm not sure how they fare when ops are added into the scene, but already it's off to a good start for them as Pesa leads the charge and takes down Exotic right off the bat as Rebirth are trying to quicken the pace and put their way out onto the A bomb site. They're not finding much going their way. PRT will try to get some damage done with the AUG. He doesn't really have to rely on hitting a kill here. He can just kind of hold back, wait out those smokes. Team 1, they're dancing behind them very, very well. As you see, they're littered all over the A bomb site, and they're going to be able to win a lot of their duels convincingly here. Barton even gets involved with a knock kill, and that wasn't even necessary. He's pushing in and just going full aggro op. He's treating it like it's a shotgun, man. That sort of thing is not a reliable way to get your rounds, but at this point, so ingrained with the Team 1 style that you just have to assume they're going to win it. We see another pause. Doesn't seem like a terrible time for it. If you look at the economy on Rebirth, you see that they will be forcing up AK-47s, no question about that. But also, if you keep an eye on Exotic, you'll see that he has a very interesting gun in his possession, the AWP. Now, obviously that's not all too crazy when you see it right off the bat, but Exotic has played a multitude of different ways with the Zop. I think of him as one of the more passive players with it. But who knows how that's going to shift up now that we're on the CT side, or now that they're on the T side, I should say. An aggro approach, I see. Exotic, always ready to go ahead and switch things up, isn't he? 4-pack will go ahead and take that off of his load-bearing shoulders. You see, he's already done insane work for Team 1, or for Rebirth with that kill alone. But Team 1, not to be one-upped. No pun intended there. We'll get a kill in response. Immediate slowdown. Now Rebirth, they're going to go back to their insanely slow pace that we have seen in a number of different games. It's honestly night and day compared to this core on some of their previous orgs and aliases and just really how they performed. The slow style doesn't seem to be suiting them all too well. Team 1 are much better at that kind of game. And they will have to work at an even man scenario. Bomb kind of in no man's land at the moment. It's sitting in ladder room. And you'll just have to go ahead, Carson, and look at that pop dog until the cows come home. Because there isn't going to have to be a lot going their way in order for Team 1 to finish this one out here. Keep in mind, Rebirth, they have a ton of util here. They could set up for an execute, just that the positions aren't quite appropriate to set up for them. It's all going to ride, I'd say, mainly on this first pick. And Maluk winning it basically is going to be the end of the line. They know where both of these players are in Rebirth, and it's kind of done just like that. They haven't spotted the bomb, but it's no matter. Barton will probably spot the cross and take him down. That's all it takes, man. Team 1 are better at that slow game. They can adjust their pace so well. And while I have been liking how Rebirth have been trying to force awkward scenarios right off the bat for those initial kills like Exotic just did previously, now still 4v5 that they struggled to convert all the way through. And Rebirth, it feels like such a cop-out to say, you know, they just need to quicken up the pace, lol. But it really does feel like in a lot of paces, Rebirth feel at their most comfortable when they're going for insanely aggressive plays. Again, both of these teams are MDL level. I could barely, you know, shake a stick at them. But it would be nice to see. It's just what I know Rebirth for at this point. That aside, Team 1 are kind of showing up at the moment. A couple of rounds in a row. 3. To go ahead and take a 12-9 lead. Again, to probably one of the more awkward parts of this game, where money is starting to get really good for Team 1. If they build up a little bit more of a bank, then Rebirth are going to have a hard time actually making a dent for the rest of this game, possibly. Now, it's not impossible. That doesn't exactly lend itself to working out for Rebirth here. Just judging by the history of Team 1 this entire season thus far, and just really how they've performed on the world stage as well. A second kill. Team 1 are looking good. This time they're going to go ahead and try to aggress in towards T-Con, I should say, excuse me. And Malms will actually get caught out by Phantom, but it's no matter. That's still a smoke down that he could put. Pretty much all that they have going for them is the fact that Rechi is situated out on the B-bomb site, which I can't get excited for because it could easily be shut down by one player. I don't know, man. I'm not liking this. Rebirth, they have a lot of great things going for them. Their sum of parts, you know, is definitely MDL worthy. When it comes to train, they do not look comfortable on this T side one bit. It will be now 13-9 in favor of the Brazilians. And Rebirth won't have much money. Oh, man. This is desperation, dude. You can tell. Just in the buy that they have going for them. Tech 9s, Mac 10s, and a single AK, a hero AK on exotic. It doesn't really seem great for them, but they have to go for everything they possibly can. The smoke down onto sidewalk just to get down onto site. Play it, get bomb down, hope that you can win out some frags from there. But already off to a bad start. Pesa has situated himself, firmly in on the enemy's flank. And now the retake will begin. Off angles being adopted by Rebirth Esports are actually pretty good. I'm liking how Rechi's trying to do this. Oh, this is actually really good from Rechi, but he's a bit too late to actually strike to actually be effective. And the counter strike, no pun intended, from Team 1 will just be ever more better. Two more to go before this wraps up in a nice little neat bow. Quite honestly, it could just end this anticlimactically. There's actually a really good fight towards the beginning, and although I feel like I've been ragging on Rebirth a lot, I don't feel like they've been doing all too bad. Rebirth are an insane team. They're definitely in the upper echelon of MDL, but it's just that, again, not trying to be a fanboy of Team 1, but just the results are undeniable. We'll get to that later. What the hell did Rechi just do? I don't know, but he got a collateral, and we'll take those. Okay, Rebirth, you've convinced me. I'm going to get a little bit more excited for you now. I hope that you can show up. PRT will try to spoil the fun here, but Exotic won't take that one sitting down. 4v2. First round in a while where this has actually looked solid for Rebirth Esports here. And although there are many attempts to try to blow out the candles, Rebirth won't take it. They'll get onto double digits and show up with a very convincing round. Even despite that double kill, that collateral that came out, that was still an insane showing for them. I'm starting to believe in my North American comrades. Already, Rechi trying to force a situation. I'm liking it. This is everything that I was ever hoping for from Rebirth, and Rechi is showing them up. Team 1, again, just as easily won't try to give this one up. They know that they have to fight tooth and nail to get these last two rounds because Rebirth are angry and they're lashing out. They're going for insanely aggro plays, and while it might look pretty, it's not sustainable in the long run. Team 1 will rebound, find 2 kills of their own before another trade comes through, and Team 1 will keep on this boat. But a man down, the bomb not in their possession. It could really swing either way at this point. The pendulum. That is Rebirth Esports. And looking to swing the right way. Carson gets a frag on the flank and leaving it all onto Barton, the B anchor. Knows at least where one of these players are, and he's trying to divide his fight appropriately, dancing all around the bomb train here. He's trying to do some sort of wonderful little maneuver. And while it would be good for 1 kill, that's a nice shot. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to work out. I mean, Rebirth, you can kind of feel it in your bones when they're going to win a round. Just the control, the pace that they're adopting just seems so different than that time they were losing 6+ rounds in a row. Or 5 rounds in a row, I should say. It's 14-11. And quite possibly 14-12, I think it's fair to say. Team 1 will just be having a couple of pistols. Try to go ahead and take some of these Rebirth players out on a date. Or with a USP, either works. Push right on in. Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a firing range. Not too much to exactly say regarding this. Team 1, they've had a little bit of a relapse of form. But once they get guns in their hands here, they can use this eco just to talk about what's been going wrong on their initial setups. I'm not going to say I'm like the armchair analyst here, but I do feel like Rebirth have definitely been kind of thinking about that aggression as well. take a gander at what Retchie just did round prior with that AWP. That's not something that's always going to work. You can't always just burst out E-Box and find a couple. But it did the job there. Jesus, mobs. Christ, dude. That was a bit of a nasty one. And Maluk will go ahead and close this out. Or Carson will close this out in style onto Maluk, I should say. Looking good. Couple of more to go. I want to see. I'm just keeping an eye on the radar at the moment. I'm ready to see someone just kind of in a sticky position, you know? But it's defaults all the way through. Rebirth don't have to switch it up. This has been their winning combination as of recent. There's the aggression. I finally spotted you, 4-pack. You can't hide from me forever. However, Team 1, they're going to be searching on a wild goose chase for this lone player, and Pesa will find him. Now, Team 1 will be back to their winning ways. Bomb dropped. Heavy presence over towards Ivy makes this seem an awful lot, like it's going to be an A-Rap. I'm a bit concerned about Carson's position, to be honest, but I don't think it's enough to write home about. Retchie's probably just looking for someone to quietly dismount from Ivy from. No, he's actually just going to sit in this area. Really scary position from Rebirth. These are great positions, don't get me wrong, but these rely a lot on solo efforts. If Retchie loses this fight, the game might just soon be over. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. But he realizes it, doesn't want to peek his head all too much. Good kill on the PRT. That's beautiful. But not good enough. Now Phantom will be trying to show up next for this examination on who can take down the most Team 1 members. And he won't match the score, but he'll at least make mobs burn alive posthumously. And while all that business has been going on, Carson has now decided to make the B site his personal real estate. Great taps onto Barton. I know that looks slightly less cool when you see the X-ray, but I can guarantee you those were something beautiful. Rebirth are keeping the dream alive. They have been born again. I think it's the obvious joke to make at this point. Pesa. He's going for a save, but he's not choosing to go for the op. Oh, okay, he's just going for a safer op. Smart to do. 14-13, Rebirth are fighting back. And with that, this is actually the closest game that Rebirth, or that Team 1 have played so far. Their second closest game was against Third Impact of all teams, actually, where they won it 16-10 still, but this is the most rounds that they have ever given up in a BO1. So, I mean, that's an achievement in of itself, even if Rebirth were to fall from here on out. Team 1, what's going to be on the menu for you guys tonight? Yeah, seems about right. Saved up plus a couple of deagles, just a half buy. Maluk is going to be looking for a couple of freebies if he can. This is a nice setup, and I like the boost up. Although Barton will find that first kill, I'm still not sold yet. This should still far and away be all Rebirth Esports, as those 2 kills will easily decide for me. Looking an awful lot like 14-14. I know the chat seems pretty unhappy with this result so far, but Team 1, at least they're keeping it somewhat competitive as I get up for the first time in what feels like 3 hours because I've just been casting so much. So pace has been slowed down so considerably. Like, I mean, honestly, this is just so unlike what Rebirth were doing to get some of those couple of rounds to even force it to this point. Team 1, They're giving so much respect to this, but I can appreciate it. Rebirth Esports finally will push down onto the site itself, where they looked at make their final destination the A bomb site. Getting the bomb down as well for good measure. It's now going to be basically on Team 1, these Deagle wielders, to try to cause a bit of damage on their way out. Maluk, as you would imagine, is just out in no man's land. And a nice little Deagle from PRT. He actually hit the headshot there, but that metal grate kept Exotic alive. And it'll be 14-14. I'll be damned. 2 insanely close games. It's a perfect way to wear out a caster when you're solo casting. But it's good practice at the same time, right? It's still unbelievable to me. Team 1, they had such a crazy good lead. They seem to be really, really struggling in the latter part of this. At this point, I can't even say it's really because of the Rebirth pace changing. They have been doing basically everything they have been doing previously. It just keeps on working. Well, back to this scenario we go. Barton has a perfect set place at the ready here. Oh, he's going to make a couple of them burn alive. Getting a shot with the op as well. That's a wonderful 3K. And Barton might have just done it. That should be 15 now for the Brazilians. It takes a monumental effort by a solo player. And while the rotations will be coming quick through from Rebirth Esports, surely they don't choke this one away, Team 1. There's a possibility. Exotic has already extended for that first frag and knows that another one is quick approaching. Pesa peeks out at the perfect time, gets a first, and the second as well is all for him. Between the two players, Barton and Pesa, they will take down every single member of Rebirth and make it very overwhelmingly their own dub. Well, possibly last round of this entire game. It's looking pretty great, Team 1, I have to say. Sure, again, that was a nice solo play, but Rebirth Esports, they can quite easily just shut this right back down. That slower pace that they're using for the majority of this game, just go right back to it. You're already seeing it, the default is in. They're not even touching over towards Ivy at the moment. In fact, they're basically all in their spawn. Even burning a good amount of util from Team 1 as well. Aw, Flippy. Love you too, bro. Setting up for an exec. Want to see how this changes the setup. Team 1? No, they're not budging. They still have a majority stacked over towards A. And 3 players pretty much all huddled around the bomb. Bomb train, excuse me. Just burning the clock down. I like it. This is exactly what it takes sometimes to get a couple of rounds. Rebirth. Basically just, again, waiting for as much util from Team 1 to be drained out before they actually make their final endeavor. Possibly the final one of this entire game out onto the A bomb site. Malbs. Toss a flash down, a bit of a celebratory maneuver perhaps, but Team 1 will win the fight, and the actual bomb is brought in over towards B. It's a complete shutdown. Team 1 will fill the kill feed with blue. Members from Rebirth are already leaving the server, and it is a done deal. 16-14, and that is quite easily probably one of the most competitive games that Team 1 have played in a long, long time. I have to say, fair play to Rebirth. Very fair play to Rebirth here. They actually put a really, really convincing fight up against an undefeated team in MDL. And obviously they didn't get the dub at the end, but that's okay. I mean, sometimes it just happens. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to follow me on my Twitch or my Twitter. Both are at ItoKP, as you can see right down there. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night because I am really, really tired. And I didn't expect both of those games to go on for so long, considering. Pleasant surprise, I suppose. Lots of good practice in. Hope you guys have a good night. and I'll see you soon.